All right, so Elon Musk just laid out this incredible blueprint for a whole new reality. And I mean, it touches everything from our jobs all the way to the very fabric of existence itself. So, what on earth does this future actually look like? Well, let's break down his most radical predictions, step by step. And he just kicks things off with this absolute stunner. I mean, a prediction so radical, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? But here's the thing. Musk is deadly serious about this. So you've got to ask, what could possibly happen to lead to a future where nobody has to work? Well, to get that, we actually have to start with what he's trying to do right now. And believe it or not, that whole journey starts with a move that is still making headlines, buying Twitter, which of course is now X. But here's the key to understanding Musk. You can't just see this as some big social media play. For him, this is the ground floor. It's the foundational layer for literally everything else that's coming. Okay, so what's really fascinating here is how this lays out his why, his core motivation. From his perspective, the old Twitter was basically amplifying a very specific, what he calls far-left, San Francisco-based ideology, and he felt it was actively silencing voices on the right. So his goal with X? To build a balanced, centrist platform, a true global town square that follows the laws of whatever country it's in without, and this is his phrase, putting a thumb on the scale. So, and this is super important, this whole thing isn't just about tweets. The end game, the big vision, is to create what he calls a collective consciousness. Just try to imagine that for a second. A single network that connects the thoughts of all of humanity across every language, all instantly translatable. Why? What's the point? It's all about increasing our shared understanding of the universe by linking all our minds together. And you have to grasp this big philosophical goal to make sense of where he goes next. Okay, so once you have that philosophical goal in your head, it sets the stage for the most practical, and honestly, the most disruptive consequence of it all. We're talking about an AI-powered revolution that's going to completely rewrite the meaning of human work. And this really is the question at the absolute heart of it, isn't it? Musk is looking at a future where AI and robotics are advancing so fast, they'll be able to do, well, pretty much anything a human can. So if that happens, what's left for us? What do we do? And that brings us right back to that shocking prediction from the start. But now, he's actually put a timeline on it. And just look at these milestones. In about 10 years, he's predicting major leaps in AI and robotics. Then, by 15 years, we're getting close to the point where work is more of a choice. And then the big one, in less than 20 years, working is completely optional for everyone. Yeah, let's just let that sink in for a second. Less than 20 years. This isn't some far-off, distant, sci-fi future he's talking about. No, he believes this is going to happen within the working careers of most of us watching right now. That is wild. So how is this even possible? Well, it's because AI and robotics are going to create something called a post-scarcity economy, basically a world of hyper-abundance. His logic is pretty straightforward. If you can think of any good or service you want, AI and robotics will be there to provide it. In a world like that, work isn't about survival anymore. It's a hobby. It's just something you do because you feel like it, because you want to. Which, of course, leads to the next big logical question, right? If everything is abundant and you don't need human labor to make stuff, then what happens to money? And this slide just perfectly lays out his chain of logic. Okay, so step 1, AI and robotics create this crazy abundance. Step 2, human labor isn't needed for production anymore. Now, Musk's definition of money is really interesting. He just calls it an information system for labor allocation. So, if you don't have any labor to allocate, the whole concept of money just kind of falls apart. So what's left? What's the real currency? Energy, the one true fundamental currency based on physics. In that future, the ability to create and use energy, that's what has value. So let's just recap for a second. We've gone from social media to the end of work to the end of money. This complete teardown of our society is what leads Musk to the ultimate question, the one that really drives his whole worldview. What even is this reality we're living in? And yeah, he asks that question directly. Are we in a simulation? And his answer is, yeah, probably. In his words, the probability is pretty high. And you've got to understand, for him, this isn't just some fun little thought experiment. It's a serious conclusion that he's reached based on a logical argument. And here's that argument laid out pretty simply. Just think about video games. In what, 50 years, we went from Pong, literally two rectangles and a dot, to these insane, photorealistic, massive multiplayer worlds. So if you just follow that trend line out, it feels almost inevitable that we'll be able to create simulations that you literally cannot tell apart from reality. And we're not going to make just one of them. We're going to make billions. So what are the odds? What are the odds that we are in the one base reality and not one of the billions and billions of simulations? But here's the final twist. This is the part that'll really bake your noodle. If we are in a simulation, what kind would it be? Well, Musk argues that it's kind of like Darwinian selection for video games. You know, how we stop playing games that are boring. He thinks the same thing would apply here. The simulations that get to keep running are the ones that are the most interesting to whoever or whatever created them. And this is the final thought he leaves us with. It's simple, it's profound, and it's kind of terrifying, honestly. If you accept the idea that we might be in a simulation where only the interesting realities get to survive, well, then the most interesting outcome for humanity isn't just a possibility, it actually becomes the most likely outcome. It's really a call to action when you think about it. We don't just have to build a better future, we have to build one that's interesting enough to keep the show running.